if you have a limited budget, which most marketers do, it's much more effective to cherry pick the best performing ad units from across platforms than having them be siloed in those platforms, because then you're getting the good with the bad. So we can be more surgical and perform better optimization for a limited budget.
I'm sitting next to Adam Berke of AdRoll. Adam, thank you for taking some time to talk to me and to the Dutch audience, the listeners of the Frank Watching podcast and the viewers on my YouTube channel. Could you tell a little bit more about who you are? You are one of the founders, right, of AdRoll? Yeah, why you founded AdRoll and what AdRoll does, of course.
Yeah, well, the overarching problem that we wanted to solve when we started AdRoll was that we saw there were these new technologies that were starting to emerge that we thought would really disrupt the way digital media was transacted. And nobody was really thinking about how to bring those types of technologies to a very broad market. Traditionally, the technology companies in the space were very focused on only the largest spenders and only the Fortune 500 brands, and we wanted to think about how to democratize that, how to build a platform that any marketer could use, knowing that if you build something that's accessible and easy to use, it can be brought to different markets and different size customers with different amounts of service. So that was sort of the vision. How do you take these new technologies, how do you make them effective for everyone, and how do you put them in the hands of the marketer to really get the most out of?
What kind of new technologies are you talking about then?
Yeah, so I'm talking about, this is back in 2007, so these are the technologies that are now collectively referred to as programmatic, but specifically real-time bidding, API-based buying, anything where you could apply a certain amount of automation to media buying and leverage things like machine learning and AI to perform optimizations and make targeting decisions that a human could never do.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to make it really practical. So imagine I'm really stupid. So maybe, I don't know if that's hard to pretend. Imagine I'm really stupid or you're telling my grandma what you're doing, what AdRoll is doing. Could you make it really practical? So on the spot, on the job, what is AdRoll doing for a small, medium enterprise?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we work with small, medium, and now also very large businesses. And for all of them, it all ends up being kind of a similar thing, where we look at people who are potentially interested in that product, and then make sure that we target them with ads and messaging that will be relevant to that user and help the marketer win that user over, and do it in a way that allows for a lot of testing and gathering of data, so that you can make better marketing decisions in the future.
Okay, so you're showing advertisements, but you also say messaging to people. So how's that going?
I use the word messaging to be synonymous with advertising and advertising messaging. Yeah.
Okay, getting your message across. Yeah. Okay. And when I'm a small business owner, I have a web shop. What can AdRoll do for me then?
Yeah, well, particularly in e-commerce businesses, the conversion rate of first-time visitors is very low, usually in the 2% range or even less. And so what AdRoll would help that business do is identify the 98% of people who are visiting a website and don't buy, and based on an anonymous profile of that user, deliver an ad that would be very relevant. So, knowing that they looked at a certain product, we can say, okay, well, if they looked at that product, they might be interested in buying the same product or even this other complementary product, and then serve that person an ad with that product and to compel them to finish the transaction.
And on what platform will this ad be shown then? Is it via Google AdSense, or do you buy ad space on several websites, or how's that going?
Yeah, all over the web. That's one of the benefits of a platform like AdRoll that has neutrality. We're not really interested. We don't have. We want to deliver whatever best for the marketer, for the advertiser, and so that allows us to be selective across various inventory sources that we can plug into and cherry pick the best from Google's inventory and Facebook's inventory and Yahoo's inventory and so on and so forth. So across, different inventory sources, different formats, and desktop and mobile and anything you can imagine, yeah.
In what way is AdRoll easier to use, or maybe it isn't, than an example having Twitter on the one hand, having analytics for and AdSense or AdWords for retargeting, and I have the Facebook Power Editor, and I have a retargeting pixel over there, and what is AdRoll doing to combine that all?
Yeah, I think you kind of answered the question. I don't think it's a very good. Marketers don't want to be logging into 8 different consoles to run the same kind of campaign, and so being able to make a simple change in our dashboard and have that propagate to all of the platforms is a major enhancement from a workflow perspective, so it's just easier to get your job done, but it's also more effective from a performance perspective. If you have a limited budget, which most marketers do, it's much more effective to cherry pick the best performing ad units from across platforms than having them be siloed in those platforms, because then you're getting the good with the bad. So we can be more surgical and perform better optimization for a limited budget.
Programmatic advertising is really also here on DMexco. It's really a buzzword. Everybody's talking about it. But what trends do you see for the coming years? Where are we going in advertising?
Yeah, I've thought this for some time, and I think in the past it's been wishful thinking, but now I think it's real. That I think next year we're really going to hit a tipping point with respect to marketers becoming more sophisticated with attribution. We've been stuck in a world of last click for a long time now, and everybody knows it's wrong, but everyone is also kind of waiting for the perfect solution. And I think people are realizing that the perfect solution is probably not going to happen, so we should start taking steps to make better attribution decisions and not let perfect be the enemy of the good. So making small incremental improvements to make better attribution decisions, which will result in more effective marketing.
If there are entrepreneurs listening, Dutch entrepreneurs, and they are not using AdRoll yet, can you convince them to at least try it? Is it still free to try?
I mean, we at various times have free trial. The thing is, it should really be, you really want to generate enough data to be able to make a real decision. So the free trial is useful to like see what the dashboard looks at, but most marketers aren't going to get enough data off of a free trial to know if it performed well for them. That said, we're very flexible on these types of things. We don't have hard and fast minimums. It usually depends on the traffic of the website that will guide what a reasonable test is.
Is there a guideline for a minimal amount of traffic to get really everything out of AdRoll?
It's not a hard and fast number. If you have a lower amount of traffic but a very high customer value, it still could be worth it. So you're going to want to have monthly traffic in the thousands of uniques or so to get started, but that's a fairly reasonable number. Yeah.
Of course, AdRoll needs to make money as well, as every entrepreneur. What's your business model? How's AdRoll making their profit?
Our business model is primarily based on a percentage of media spend, and we think that's the best way to align our incentives with our customer. That allows us to be totally transparent about where ads are running. It allows us to be flexible and allowing our customer to pull different levers and say, well, I want to control the frequency cap or things of that nature. If we were arbitraging them, we wouldn't be able to allow that because we'd be taking on all the risk. So pricing based on the actual cost of the media allows us to do that. And of course, we need to optimize for the ROI goal. If we don't hit the ROI goal, we'll lose the customer. So it all comes down to the ROI, but the business model being based on media allows us kind of the best of both worlds, being flexible, transparent, and target ROI goals.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I have one final question, because you are an entrepreneur now for how long?
Well, we started AdRoll 9 years ago now, so yeah.
9 years. I hope and I assume that in the past 9 years you've made failures as well. So you learned a lot from it, I hope. Is there a favorite failure? Did you experience something that, looking back on it, you realize it has been a very valuable lesson? And could you share it with our audience to prevent them for making the same mistake?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Early on, we did a lot of iterating. I would say from the year 2007 to the year 2009, It took us a long time to, it took us 2 years to really figure out product market fit. We knew that we needed an interface and a platform that was easy to use and provided a lot of functionality for users. We knew that part, but the kind of how the targeting would work, some of the other functionality we just didn't know. And this is where it's interesting looking back. This was a really scary time. This was during the global financial crisis, and so that ordinarily would have been you would think would be a difficult time to build a business, but it actually really helped us in that during that time there's not a lot of test marketing budgets around. You need to demonstrate results very quickly, and so while it was actually very hard to win customers, we got really good feedback, because if the product didn't work, you'd find out very fast. So yeah, it's kind of a meta answer to the question, but not being afraid of failures and realizing that getting that feedback loop is what is going to allow you to get to the right product. And so really early on, not diluting yourself. If the economy was really good and we had lots of excess budget to work with, we might have not figured out something that added value as quickly. So as it turned out, difficult times actually helped to really act as a crucible to make us a better company in the long term.
So be open for feedback and take it with you.
Strong convictions loosely held. So you want to have a point of view, but allow your mind to be changed. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Vond je dit nou een leuke video? Klik dan even op het duimpje omhoog en stel me al je vragen of laat een leuke reactie achter bij de comments. Wil je meer zien en automatisch op de hoogte blijven? Abonneer dan even op mijn kanaal. Thanks!